Hello and welcome back to the Deep End.
Our late night talk show at 7:40 in the morning.
Happy holidays. Today, Caden Smallwood, president of the yearbook,
And Lauren Raganese, a senior nominated for the Presidential Scholarship Award, will be joining us.
Let's dive in. Hi Caden, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Good, how are you both?
Good. So, you've been a part of the yearbook for 3 years now,
Yes.
and this is your first year as president?
Yes.
How has that been?
It's been fun. I'm excited to take on the role and continue doing yearbook.
So, what's the process of making the yearbook?
It's a long process. Obviously, it takes all year almost. We go from beginning of the year all the way until spring, and then after that, we do the distribution at the end of the year. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time to be able to put that in, and a lot of it is very tedious. So it takes a lot of time and a lot of people to be able to put together the yearbook.
How many people are on the yearbook this year?
We have a pretty good crew this year. I'd say there's at least 10 people that are working pretty hard on the yearbook. We have people that come in here and there and help out with certain things, but overall I think that we have a good crew this year.
So you start taking pictures and planning like last year, right, for this year's yearbook?
Yes, we do. Certain events happen in the year before that we can't fit into the yearbook, into this year's yearbook, just because of time constraints. Obviously, we have to have it in by spring so that it can be printed and distributed by the end of the year. So certain things like prom often doesn't get into the yearbook for that year, but the next year it will be, and it will be for the seniors because it would be the previous year's juniors prom. So yeah, certain things like that. We start planning the year before. Layouts and things like that. We try and get ahead of the time so that we can have that all prepared and so that we can work on content of the yearbook for that year.
Oh, nice. So is the yearbook club mostly student ran, or do you have advisors? How does that work?
Yeah, so we have students who sort of lead certain departments of the yearbook. We have clubs and sports, fine arts, all three are very large sections of the yearbook. And then of course we have our advisors, Mr. Roney and Ms. McCary. Especially Mr. Roney, she puts in a lot of work for the yearbook. And she takes a lot of time to be able to put together something that's really special.
Yeah, that's great.
So, Caden, here at the Lifeguard, per magazine, we average about 50 pages. You said that you have over 200. I can't imagine the workload it takes for that. Do you ever find yourself struggling to meet deadlines or stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Deadlines are always a big issue, just because the amount of content that we try and put into the yearbook and the time that we have to do it is very limited, especially seeing that yearbook is a club. We only get an hour after school, 1 day a week. It makes it very difficult to be able to coordinate with people, and it makes it very difficult to be able to get together everything that we need in order to create a yearbook that is representative of everybody and that is good. It takes a lot of effort outside of school to be able to accomplish that. Yeah.
So how does the yearbook work now that it's coming closer to Christmas break? Are you doing anything for the holidays, like a section in the yearbook?
Yeah, so we had a deadline December 1st where a certain amount of pages needed to be in. Now that we're moving into the second section, we sort of have, I don't know if we already have a poll out, but Mr. Roney always posts on the class of 2024 and so on classrooms, holiday polls. We always ask for pictures from Spirit Week, which is ongoing. So yeah, we sort of put together a holiday poll page, or we'll put those throughout the yearbook from the results that we get. We'll do a Spirit Week page most likely, and things like that. We do for Christmas time, holiday time.
So you mentioned Spirit Week. I know that some of the student body has had issues with the recent Spirit Weeks. Has that impacted you in any way? With less people participating maybe, or
Yeah.
them being not as engaging as they used to be or
Yeah.
could potentially be?
Yeah, so having people not engage in Spirit Week, obviously we're not able to have as many pictures, we're not able to represent as many people, which is really a big goal for the yearbook, is to represent as many people as we can, to be able to, really, for people to be able to look back and see themselves and see, their friends and everything like that, the time that they had here in a favorable light. So when people don't participate in Spirit Week, or we don't have as many pictures, or people participating in polls, it makes it very difficult to represent everybody. But we do our best with what we have, and just keep rolling.
I know that's an issue for, I know Lauren Raganes, who's a part, we'll be talking with her shortly, but she's a part of the student body, and like they were proposing other ones and they're just getting shot down. So we'll have to see where that goes, hopefully for spring or Easter or something, that we'll get more engagement with that. But speaking of the holidays, Kaden, do you have any plans this Christmas?
No, not really. We don't. My family doesn't do a lot for Christmas. We just hang out as a family, and that's it pretty much.
And that's really all that matters, right?
Yeah.
It's family time. What about you, Mackenzie?
Same, just family stuff.
I hate to be boring, but same.
What do you like to do during the winter? Like outside activities, stay inside?
Mainly just work.
Really?
Yeah.
Where do you work?
I work at a bar.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
okay. Are you
Yeah.
18?
No.
Not yet.
You don't have to be 18 to work at a bar.
Well, yeah, I just
certain
wasn't sure if you
things.
were serving.
No.
So you mentioned that there are a lot of struggles with like planning the yearbook and coordinating with people. What is one thing specifically that you've had to adapt to this year that has been difficult?
This year, I would say participation sometimes. I think that because it's a club after school, sometimes it's difficult to get people to stay after, and sometimes people make commitments and don't exactly follow through with them. So it puts the work onto some other people sometimes, and it makes it difficult for us to be able to, again, meet those deadlines. In the past we've made group chats, and we use email or whatever to be able to reach out to people to get what we need done. But yeah, participation sometimes is difficult to be able to have so that we can to get everything done.
Yeah. What is like your favorite part of being a part of the yearbook?
My favorite part of being a part of the yearbook, I would say, is that I'm able to create such a memorable thing. I mean, people look back on the yearbook for years. Parents, our parents probably still have their yearbooks, and they look back on them. And people will have these yearbooks for decades. So to be able to make something that is really lasting and people will look back on is it's a good feeling, and it's something I like to do.
Being more now in the digital kind of age, do you find that to have its pros and cons? Because I can definitely see pros it being easier to gain more media and pictures, but I feel like maybe a con would be the yearbook isn't as I don't know how say it, but because anyone can take pictures and stuff. Do you have anything?
Yeah.
Being,
I think that the yearbook, the fact that we put the content in that we do, it's not just pictures. We also like to include words, of course. We like to include stories, highlights of the year from people. So I think that putting it all together in a yearbook sort of summarizes the year in a whole. It's sort of like a wrap type thing. It's sort of just, I think is better than just looking back at some photos.
So thank you so much for joining us today, Kaden.
Of course, thank you.
We can't wait to see the yearbook. And next we have Lauren Raganes. How are you today, Lauren?
Good, how are you?
Good. So we hear that you got nominated for the Presidential Scholars Program.
I did.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what is that exactly?
So it's basically just a recognition program for, I think it was 21 students in New York State. I think they could be awarded based off of arts, volunteering, just academics in general. So it was me and a couple other people. I think it was Andrew Waddy, Hunter Eccles, and Joel Weick. So.
Oh wow, that's impressive. So we also hear that
you got into the U.S. Coast Guard Academy.
Yes, I did.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
What made you choose to go there?
Well, I think it's the most part about it is just like serving your country and just like giving back. And also like I feel like I would very much fit into that environment. Like I went to a program there this summer and it was basically just like a week-long experience of like, you know, like being yelled at, doing all this stuff, waking up early. And I think that's just like how I am as a person. I like to be very organized and that's like a good lifestyle for me. I also play softball, so I've been in contact with the coach for a while. And I think it'll just be a good fit. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's very exciting.
Thank you.
So how do you feel that Liverpool has set you up to go to college and prepared you for like the real world?
I think Liverpool has been very good. Like since like 7th grade, like they've put us in like Excel classes and stuff like that. I've felt like I've had a lot of experiences to like really show off like my academic skills, like especially with friends and stuff like that. So and sports as well, I think has really helped me get into college too.
Right. Have you gotten any scholarships or anything like that for school?
Yeah, I got the Best and Brightest scholarship a couple months ago. That with the presidential one. So yeah.
Oh wow, that's great. So what does your course look like for this year?
This year, I've tried to, even though it's senior year, I tried to like keep a pretty heavy schedule still, so it looks good on like college resumes, stuff like that. So I'm taking 4 APs. I'm taking AP Bio, AP Calc. I'm gonna have to cut this. AP Gov and AP Lit. And I think those are just fun classes. Like even though it's like a big test at the end of the year, like you still like know that you're challenging yourself, which is really good.
Right.
So.
And you've loaded up on classes in previous years.
Yeah, last year I took like 5 APs too. This year I'm also taking Super Chem. It's just like it's good to know that I'm trying to take like the most challenging courses that the school has to offer. So.
Do you ever find it difficult to balance all that on top of softball, on top of your personal life?
Yeah, I think, well, I've been doing it since like middle school, like playing sports and dealing with school. So over time I've kind of like accustomed to like that lifestyle, which I think will prepare me for the Coast Guard too. Right. So I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah. How do you find, what do you think is the best way that you manage all that?
I think really just keeping a planner is really good, like writing down everything, like once I get assigned something, like writing it down, and just like mentally keeping notes of things to keep me in check. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So considering all the different and difficult classes you've taken, are there any teachers that you think have helped you along the way?
Yeah, for sure. I think starting out in high school too, in 9th grade, Mr. Calderwood, he was my earth science honors teacher. He was just like so fun to be around, especially during COVID.
Yeah.
So he's really influenced like my learning and stuff like that. Another one is Mrs. Avery. She was my 10th grade world history teacher, and she was just such a great presence as well. Like just making it fun for the class and like having like still challenging lessons. And final one is Mr. Kowalski, my boy Tate. He's my AP calculus teacher, and I just love him as a teacher. So yeah, he's really nice. So,
yeah, that's great. So what are your plans after college?
After college, so with the Coast Guard Academy, you have to serve 5 years after.
Right.
So like based on like your grades or stuff like that, you can get a ranking of like what you want to do. So that could entail like going on a cutter and like doing search and rescue or like drug interdiction. I also could go to like flight school and like fly helicopters. So like when they save people from the water, I could do stuff like that too. So yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. So what are you looking to accomplish with the Coast Guard and being with them?
I think the big virtue of being in the Coast Guard is just having like respect for each other, and just like knowing that you have someone next to you who like will fight for you and like will do everything to like make sure you're successful. And I can kind of relate that to like sports and like knowing that you have someone next to you, like when I play softball, like knowing my friend like Katya Flavin, Joelle Wyke, like they're next to me, and they just kind of have my back in everything I do. So I think that's a big something in the Coast Guard that I kind of can relate to and I can continue in my future.
Speaking of responsibility, you're the school-wide treasurer, right?
Yes, I am. I'm part of the school-wide. This is my first year, obviously the last year, but it's been nice because it's kind of like realizing there's a lot more responsibility and like doing stuff for the entire school. So like we have to do homecoming, we have to do the semi-formal, we have to plan like the senior trip. So there's a lot of more responsibilities that I'm kind of taking on that is kind of interesting to know about. So yeah.
Yeah. Anything for this winter?
I'm a part of Science Olympiad, so I'm the vice president of that, and we're doing our competition in January.
Oh, fun. Okay. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today, Lauren,
Thank you.
and good luck in the Coast Guard.
Thank you. And happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time on the Deep End.